Welcome and thank you for joining. We'll continue with question number 28f on page 113. So in this question, we have the function f of x equals negative 3x4 divided by the square root of 4x minus 8. As you can see, this function is given in rational form, which means we have to use the quotient rule. So the quotient rule states that if we have the ratio of two functions f of g, over g and we want to differentiate, then the derivative will be FGGF in the numerator, so with a minus in between, prime F, prime G, and denominator will have G to the power of 2. So let's apply this formula onto the function f of x given. So we have f of x equals big fraction line, and we have negative 3x4. That would be our first term, which, as you can see, is differentiated, so derivative. And then we multiply by the denominator. So to make it easier, what you want to do is prepare the equation for differentiation first. And what we mean by that is convert the radicals into powers, rational powers. And in our case, we have the square root of 4x minus 8 converting to 4x minus 8 to the power of a half. So we'll multiply here by 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2, the denominator. And then we have minus, and then take the derivative of the denominator, which is 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2, and then multiplied by the numerator, which is negative 3x4. And let's extend this fraction line again. All right, and denominator will be, or will become 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2, and that we need to square. So we are going to bring this to the power of 2. So now we start differentiating. Big fraction line, very long one, as long as possible. There we go. And the derivative of negative 3x to the power of 4 is negative 12. And then x to the power of 3. We're multiplying by 4x minus 8 to the power of a half. And then subtract. We have the derivative of the denominator, which, as you can see, we have a small little chain in here. So 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2 will have the power of 1 over 2, the outside function, and then you have the inside function 4x minus 8. So we'll take care of the outside first. So that means we have 1 over 2, 4x minus 8 won't change, but the power of it will change to become 1 over 2, take away 1, and then we multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is the derivative of 4x minus 8. Derivative of 4x is 4, and derivative of negative 8 is 0, so just multiply by 4, and then multiplied by negative 3x to the power of 4, and the denominator turns out into a very nice actual expression. As you can see, we have power 1 over 2 to the power of 2, that will become power 1, which means that 4x minus 8 will be happy and free here. So no powers. So let's clean up the expression. We want to simplify as much as possible each group of terms. So we have to simplify this, simplify that first before we start factoring it. So we have negative 12x cubed. Nothing changes here. We have 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2. Again, nothing changes here. We have a little bit of work to do in the next group of terms. So you have 1 over 2 and we have a 4. So 1 over 2 times 4 will give a 2. And then we have to multiply by this monomial, so negative 3x to the 4. That makes negative 6x to the power of 4. And with this negative in front of the entire group of terms, will become positive 6x to the power of 4. So as you can see here, again, 1 over 2 times 4 times negative 3x to the power of 4. And you can look at it as 4 times negative 3 divided by negative 2 here, right? That is 6. And then x to the 4 here. And then the other factor is 4x minus 8, which is to the power of 1 over 2 minus 1, which is basically 1 over 2 minus 2 over 2, or simply negative 1 over 2. Denominator 4x minus 8. Let's continue. So I just need to add a page here. And in the next step, we are going to take care of the common factors. Again, long line. And we inspect the monomial factors in each group of terms. Remember that here we have a plus, right? So we have two groups of terms. So we have a monomial factor in each of them. And the common factor will be negative 12 and 6. We can take out a 6. And let's make this normal. And then x cubed and x4, we can take out x to the power of 3. And as you can see, we have 4x minus 8, a common factor. Here is power over half. Here is power over negative half. And we know that when we take out powers, we take out the smaller power because that's what's common. And negative 1 over 2 is smaller than positive 1 over 2. So that comes out. And the rest of the expression now becomes, let's take a look. So negative 12x cubed divided by 6x cubed will be negative 2. And down here we have 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2. It's about time to get ready to go to work. So 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2, and we have 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2, and then we subtract the power that we took out, and the power we took out was negative half. And the next group of terms, we have 6x to the 4, 6x cubed is out. That means that 1x will be in. So I'll keep this the same color so it's easier. And the entire factor here is out, so there's nothing else left. So let's close the brackets, about divided by 4x minus 8. So let's check and see what we have left. All right, so we have 6x to the power of 3. Now you see that this is a factor in here. It has a negative power, so we'll bring that down. 4x to the power of 1, 4x minus 8 to the power of 1 over 2. And we already have a 4x minus 8 here, which now we'll keep it in brackets because it's multiplying the factor we brought in, right? And if you want to make the power visible, because as you can see, we are going to prepare them to join each other, then just give it a power of 1. And the numerator will have the 6x cubed, and then in brackets we'll have negative 2. Now 4x minus 8 power 1 over 2 minus negative 1 over 2, it will be 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2, so power 1. So which means that negative 2 is multiplying 4x minus 8 here, and then plus x at the end. And we'll close the brackets. Let's make these ones square as well. All right, so one last step, I guess. So we have in the denominator combining the two powers of 4x minus 8. So we're adding 1 over 2 with 1. So that's 1.5 or 3 over 2. And the numerator will have 6x cubed. In brackets, we'll have negative 8x plus 16 plus x. It seems that we're going to need an extra step in here. So obviously you can do this faster. I'm just trying to show every single step and how we go around this. But you could easily see that, you know, how these two numbers will simplify. So we have plus 16. And usually we do not like to actually start the an expression with a negative leading coefficient, so the negative can come out, and that will make negative 6x cubed, 7x minus 16, so the plus 16, once the negative is out, will turn into a negative, and that will be divided by 4x minus 8 to the power of 3 over 2. And this would be an acceptable answer. It is correct. The differentiation process is correct. And we say that this is the derivative dy dx. This function was in the xy notation, so we'll write dy dx. Now, you're probably wondering, how about taking out a common factor in here, which obviously can happen. And I will show you how I would do this. Obviously, there are different ways. So I'm just going to work with this part of the derivative. So if we have 4x minus 8 to the power of 3 over 2, it's the same as if saying 4 times x minus 2 to the power of 1 over 2 to the power of 3, right? So 1 over 2. Now, you can probably see why I took 1 over 2 out in here. The reason is because I want to actually see the square root, because 4 is a perfect square number. So what we're going to do here is take this 1 over 2 and apply it to every term inside the square brackets here. So that means that we have the square root of 4, or 4 to the power 1 over 2. I'll leave things in power form. And then x minus 2 to the power of 1 over 2 again. And then everything will be to the power of 3. So that will make a 2. X minus 2 to the power of a half. And then the entire thing to the power of 3. So next thing I want to do is bring this power of 3 in. And then we have 2 to the power of 3. And then x minus 2 to the power of 1 over 2 to the power of 3. So that makes it 8. And then x minus 2 to the power of 3 over 2. And that is another way you can write this denominator in here. And if we decided to go this way, so all the way to factoring whatever is inside the brackets, then we'll say that we have negative 6x cubed, 7x minus 16, and then divided by 8, and then x minus 2 to the power of 3 over 2. So there are shortcuts to this, obviously, and if you have any other tricks to share, please share in the comments so other people can see it as well. And I'm going to stop the solution in here, or this process in here, because I don't want to complicate it any further and make it any longer. But obviously remember that there is more than one way of solving a problem in math. There is more than one way of simplifying an expression. And here I'm reducing 6 by 8 and 6 and 8 by 2, so that will make it a 4, and then x minus 2 to the power of 3 over 2. And at this point in time, so for our evaluation, so this will be accepted as a simplified form and will deserve full marks, because I know we're worried about it. But this would be a proper form of simplifying as well. So this is completely simplified. So I hope this very long explanation about these little things kind of made sense, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.